right. We're live, everybody. It's good to see you. Well, can't really see you, but it's great that you can see us. And welcome to Gravity Live, where we do interviews with people in the community and just get a dive into their workflow and how they use Gravity Sketch amongst other tools. And so we're joined today by Anita Wielgosz, and it's a pleasure to have her. And I'm excited to show you all the amazing work and the workflows that she uses to bring many tools together to create immersive experiences in virtual reality. So Anita is a virtual reality designer, and she's going to be taking you through her process, and we're going to dive in a little bit into her background as well. And it should be a pretty good one. I want to remind everybody that if you have any questions, please feel free to pop it in the chat there. I'll be monitoring that, and if there's any questions you have for Anita, we'll definitely try and get to those at the end. And if that's okay with you, Anita, maybe we could pop a question in the middle too. Totally up to you. But yeah, we'll be taking questions. Please put it in the chat, and we'll try to answer it afterwards if we can't get to it during the live. And if you have to dip out early or anything, this live will be available as soon as it's over as well on YouTube. So, yeah, welcome everybody. My name is Jaron. This is Anita, and let's get started. So, Anita, I'll just pop the first question over to you. Can you just introduce yourself and give us a brief overview of your background and how you got into digital creation and VR education?
Mm-hmm. Sure. So yes, this is Anita Wielgosz, and I'm an artist and immersive environments designer. And at New Daring World, I create those imaginative virtual worlds for communities, brands, and educators to boost their user engagement. So I would say I'm a sculptor by birth. So with my earliest memories sending me back to my childhood when my grandfather kept a special drawer for me with some figurines I mass produced at the time. And yeah, fast forward 20 years, and I graduated from Fine Arts Academy with a degree in visual communication and also art education. But I specialized in branding and typography design. And well, at the time I was in the art school, traditional sculpting was actually deemed as sort of a lame thing, like something only a starving artist would engage to choose to do for a living. And 3D software was highly technical at the time, and YouTube tutorials weren't there yet. And so yeah, 3D modeling seemed like an insider's knowledge, really reserved for a few. And for a shy, really introverted person that I was at the time, it seemed like a reasonable thing to follow the path of branding and typography and illustration. And yeah, so that's what I did, and continued on the path with when this evolved into user interface design. With the development of technology, of course. And I spent over a decade with this domain, experimenting with various 2D software applications and design systems. And while I was proficient at 2D design, I always felt like there was something missing, like a dimension, perhaps. And yeah, so designing for the mere sake of aesthetics, or designing for design, never really captivated my interest. So I found myself constantly seeking out for opportunities to intersect with other disciplines, and especially social impact and education. That's always the key thing that interests me in that domain. So that curiosity led me to attend the Games for Change conference in New York in 2017. And it was there at this MIT Media Labs booth that I experienced VR for the first time. And well, it was like super amazing, the experience. Like my limiting belief at that time was that I'll never be able to, like learn all the technicalities behind behind that. Uh, Behind its workings. So let alone like using VR for sculpting and creation for like one fine day. So yeah, that's, and then fast forward like 2019, I gave birth to my son, and this parenthood and a career break like really allowed me to unapologetically like indulge with this favorite activity of mine, which is like sculpting, like, and VR sculpting. Sorry, and like this Play-Doh sculpting, actually, like polymer sculpting. And I was thinking, like, why can't I do this for a living? And of course, I could learn, like, start learning Blender, but like, parenthood does not allow like for so much of self-education, me time. So in 2022, or even like later, maybe, like I started noticing people posting videos of sculpting in VR, and I was mostly like tilt brush at the time. And that's when I decided to take the leap. And I really bought my very first like Meta Quest headset. And even though like it's even like remained unopened for 3 months, and until I couldn't like return it like to that point. And then I finally gave it a try. And just from that time, from that moment, like my professional chapter of my life like just got unlocked, because I started using, I rediscovered this the gravity sketch app. So well, today I use Gravity Sketch for those like 3 use cases. And one is like this designing of those virtual environments and the avatars for communities, brands, and educators. But another use case I'm doing is this creating like this content by filming the process of VR sculpting. And so like the content creation from the creator's perspective. And the third one, and that is like maybe like the super like in an interesting one, is I'm actually using this as a learning tool, like such as the time when I want to grasp some like abstract concept, or something like very tangible, like the anatomy of the inner ear before the otolaryngologist's office. So like.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing journey, and especially like that bit through parenthood, as you mentioned just a bit ago, um, and navigating that, I'm sure that was challenging, because you have limited time, to actually explore some of these
But
other things.
at the same time, it really helped me discover that like real passion.
Yeah,
I just had the time to do that,
yeah,
and I did. And
yeah,
that's an amazing opportunity.
absolutely. And as you can see on screen, everyone, this is all the work that Anita has worked on in creating these immersive experiences. And can you just talk a little bit about what people are seeing on screen, in terms of the video? Just you don't have to give a big explanation, but it's previous works and projects you've worked on, correct?
Exactly. So, what, like, I'm not being able to like see the video. Like, I don't know which sequence are you like watching right now, but these are like cutouts from my like experiences. And I usually like I try to show them in a sequence where I first show the workflow, like where I first show the VR sculpting, then processing of that file in what is like what I usually do is like in Blender or in Substance Painter, and then the final outcome, which is an immersive environment on spatial, or like in other cases there are some of the AR effects. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to give a
Mhm.
brief explanation so people
Uh-huh.
understood. But so can I ask you another question? What initially drew you to using VR tools in your creative work as a learning tool?
Mm-hmm. Well, that definitely like the affinity for sculpting, but most also like the disappointment with the traditional 3D tools, like the traditional tools to design 3D objects and the workflows and the interfaces. And working with 2D screens to create 3D objects, especially when I know how it should feel like how it feels like designing a tangible object, like a physical object, with hands, like the hands-on experience. Like this is ridiculous to a certain degree to use that. Of course, like this is how it works. But now that we have spatial technology and all those tools, it's just serves. I can't imagine like going back on that one. So and also like time efficiency, and again like this busy parenting. So that would be another one. And yeah, also like of course like fewer iterations. Like when I design a virtual environment inside Gravity Sketch, that's what I usually like start with. I can switch the perspectives for the avatars like immediately, so I can see the world from the perspective of that avatar I will be later like traveling with, right? Or I can switch to the third perspective. I can like there's so many angles to view the concept, so that it's actually it's saving me a lot of time.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. That time saving bit is something that we hear a lot, where it's. I mean, you're just able to perceive and understand a concept and idea so much more quickly. You know, because you're immersed in it. You're in it, and you're seeing all the angles up in real time.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I had this thought just yesterday when I was thinking like, why is that like, why does that make it so different to designing on screen, and even with like those even like 3D experiences but on screen, then it's like in VR you really have like so many ways to look around this object, like it's infinite, right? Like you have so many, you have so many chances to think creatively about an object. It's you don't have this experience anywhere else than the immersive environment. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's very interesting. Yeah, and now we're seeing companies like, like Apple jumping in with the Vision Pro, and it's very interesting to see how things unfold with that. And I think it's bringing VR and immersive experiences more into the mainstream. I think it's catching more people's attention, so it's very interesting development. I think in the world, and how the future of immersive experiences will develop and unfold. Do you see yourself using Vision Pro at any point? I know that they don't really support a lot of creation at the moment, but you
Well,
know,
it's still it's not like the customer facing
yeah,
product yet. Like it's more for the developers likely to test. But yes, of course, I would love to.
yeah.
And yeah. Hmm.
Um, I guess that's a good lead into the next question I have, which is, how do you see VR transforming the landscape of digital creation and education?
Mm, yeah. So there are there are a couple of aspects to like to factor in this for sure. Like first of all, like this media is shifting right from 2D to 3D content. The adoption of augmented reality and XR it just comes naturally because it blends with our real world, and it's easy to understand and leverage for like whatever like purpose you might have, like in business and marketing. And the future of web content is also 3D. So your like next website is likely to going to look like an immersive digital walkthrough rather than a place for scrolling. So and yeah, and like what you mentioned, like the rise of consumer VR, sorry, VR devices drives demand for even more 3D content. and also makes content creation accessible for designers. So yeah, like another factor like to factor in is that Gen Zs and alphas, they adopt social VR so naturally, and so platforms such as like Roblox and Fortnite and Spatial are becoming actually they're becoming the new social media channels. And yeah, and with gaming platforms such as Fortnite opening up for user-generated content, so like there's no shortage of demand for 3D assets on this horizon. And to me personally, as creator of VR experiences and like spatial technology, it emerges almost like a new language, like a new way of communicating. And it's unlike like other languages in the past, like programming, for example. This one comes like very naturally to learn. So I'd say like to think in 3D, this is actually a like claim of this is what the Gravity Sketch like uses as the call to action, right? Like think in 3D. So this really truly like resonates with me because I'm sure it really resonates with many other like neurodiverse thinkers who perhaps struggle with processing text and numbers. So, so spatial technology, like spatial design in particular, is the new way of thinking. Also, like the oldest at the same time, but it's not only the thinking in 3D space, thinking in VR that makes it so powerful, but more like the most important part probably is how it makes you feel. So emotions and VR, like the emotions that this VR experience evokes, right? And so also like VR sculpting is a truly like a very like sensual experience with engaging all senses, with engaging like visual, the tactile, and most importantly, like really engages the body. So like this engagement and emotional experience, they add value beyond the efficiency and beyond the business value, like it drives for the designers. So if you like add just one another layer to this, like the collaborative, the multiplayer creation, you really have access to like a transformational experience. And this is why it makes such a powerful tool for creation and learning, because you know like when you learn, if there's something meaningful and there's an emotion attached to it, you really um it sinks in, and it's like yeah, it's easier to relate, like it's constructing the understanding of a subject matter with using, like for example, this VR sculpting.
Yeah, this is fascinating. I mean, especially what you're talking about earlier with Gen Z, and how you know social VR and a lot of like the younger generation are moving to, yeah, this new paradigm of interacting with each other. The social aspect is very interesting. Um, it seems like still like this very niche thing. At least to me, I could be just because of the generation I'm in, but it probably won't be for long. I mean, it seems like it is a blossoming, growing thing, truly. It's for obviously like you mentioned Gen Z. Um,
But important to thing is that you
yeah,
don't have to be Gen Z to
right, of
enjoy that.
course. Yeah, I guess I just mean like they're probably the most likely to adopt it, and obviously growing up with it, right? It seems like these technologies that we grow up with are the ones we're the most comfortable with,
Mhm.
and so obviously today is VR and virtual reality is one of the big ones, but I really appreciate you just kind of going in depth there. I think we could talk about it at length. And if anybody has any questions, just want to remind everybody, please ask them, and we can try and get them at the end. But if you have any thoughts to share. But I want to know, what's a project that you're proud of? I know we have this stuff on screen that we're showing stuff that you've worked on, but can you just describe a project that that you're really proud of?
I'll just pick like maybe this Immuniverse for starters. This is a project that actually like opened up my mind for the possibility to create those environments, the immersive experiences. It's a collaboration with two scientists, like one specializing in the field of human immunology and the other one being a tumor scientist. So the aim of the project was to be able to travel into different parts of the body and learn about the role they play in the human immune system. And the space, while it was like a proof of concept, now it evolves into a space when it will evolve into a space where live discussions and educational activities will take place. So this is an important one for me also, like from that educational perspective. So but the second project I would like to mention is actually designing like for the communities, like designing for that metaverse explorers and Web3 doers communities that I'm a part of. And yeah, this is an important milestone for me, at least like from that learning perspective, because it was the first time I was using that newly then released Unity Creator Toolkit. But the more important thing here is that the power of light in that event, like of joining those two communities and actually like watching people come to that space I created and like the rekindling their interest in the metaverse space and all the interactions and networking. And of course, like I love designing like the space for Dope Stilo Music Club and like watching his community come to the space I created, and this is like a really cool, colorful, beautiful community there and spatial. So they like unlocked the dances created by another designer, and it was an amazing experience.
Yeah, this is great. I think when you started talking,
yeah, sorry.
Well, when you're starting to talk about the Immuniverse, I think that's what's actually playing on screen right now too. At least that's what it looks like. It looks like small molecules, sort of a microscopic world that we're inside of. Would that be it?
There are two ways where I'm showing this. Like one is that actual like view from the world where there's this avatar jumping from that spiral staircase, and he like is I think it's more at the beginning where he watches like all the body parts involved in that immune system. But there is another one. There's this demo where I'm showing. This is like a demo for teachers, educators, and how they could actually use that gravity sketch in their classroom, and how they can manipulate those objects. Like they can really from scratch start to build their own shapes and forms, and of course in any subject matter, but this one in particular was for that dendritic cells and some other T cells responsible for the cancer, to combat cancer cells. So
really cool very cool work. Someone commented, "Love the idea of using VR to teach about the body," and I couldn't agree more. I mean, this is the thing that I think we haven't really fully explored or seen all the ways that I think that being in a immersive virtual environment can help us learn things, and I think we're starting to see that more and more now. obviously, but especially like for education, this is why I wanted to. One of the reasons why I really wanted to bring you on was because I know that your focus is more of as a creator, as a designer, but you do have this interest in helping educators to teach using virtual reality, and I think that's such a cool angle to all of this because it's just I think it's a very massively unexplored area, and I think the more that we can put it out there into the world and get people thinking about how they can maybe use VR and virtual reality to help teach, I think the better.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry, like because there are so many in education, like the these are the teachers that should come up with the use cases for and to use their like teaching methods to give a sense of structure to that learning process. There are so many there are many educational VR apps even, and but what I've noticed, from what I understand, is that these are many times mostly like like for consuming educational content only, like so that you can go for a field trip, you can manipulate some prefabs, like you can like like move around objects and scale up, scale down, like all of these those types of interactions. But here you can actually like like you can understand, you can like peek inside the cell and understand why is that like a new like an electron is like changing its charge or something, like whatever, like it's just you have this amazing opportunity to invite your students and show them, like and show them hands on, and also for them to for example to replicate, or even for like another use case, like the self expression, right? Like
yeah.
yeah. So this is an amazing. I think this is under leveraged.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And I hope this conversation can inspire some out there that end up seeing this to explore. Maybe if if you're a teacher watching this, this could be a tool that you can use to explore teaching things for your students. Um, and I know that at Gravity Sketch we're very invested in the education side of things and involved with universities. So, but yeah, I digress. I want to move on to another smaller question here, but I wanted to know, what are the workflows and what are like your favorite tools using alongside Gravity Sketch and in the work that you do? Yeah, obviously you use Gravity Sketch, but we're seeing in this video other, other software. You obviously had to use other software to create these environments. What are some other tools in your workflow that you like to use to realize your ideas?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll even say, like, go as far as to say that, like, learning Gravity Sketch allowed me to learn and understand other, like, the traditional 3D software tools, right? Such as Blender and Substance Painter, then like Unity. And because that was such a great intuitive starting point. So yeah, so the most basic workflow is that where I get an idea, I then come to Gravity Sketch, like like develop the concept art for this experience, test it. Then I usually take it to Blender with all the import export capabilities of the software, do the UV unwrapping, do whatever needs to be done in terms of like maybe, for example, like adding adding a staircase, and that's where I would go to Blender. And then on top of that, I use Substance Painter for texturing. I do a lot of manual painting on top of the objects.
Wow.
And so mostly I paint the textures, but yeah, but and then I would just move it into Unity, apply the interactables, And finally, the world is available. Like it's full. It's a walkable experience. So
Wow.
yeah, that's my tip. That's the typical workflow. I've learned like you can skip. You don't have to do all of this. Like if you want to start and if you want to make it more concise, simple process, then absolutely you can even like generate your textures or use like just whatever, like skip that stage. But as for the tools that I love to use in Gravity Sketch, this is, for me, this is probably the surface modeling tool, because this is like a super precise one, and allows for like really unlimited like expression, as opposed like as opposite to, for example, the prefabs like the cube or a sphere or even like strokes and so on. But the surface modeling tool, it's the closest to what I experience when sculpting in the real world. So yeah, that would be my favorite. And if you happen to you're planning to add maybe some animation or texturing within the Gravity Sketch, then I'll just
Yeah, that's definitely one that we've heard a lot, and has been requested a lot. Um, to my understanding, I think the team is looking into it. I don't know if I can really promise anything, but I think the team is definitely looking into it because that's been one that has been widely asked about. But yes, the idea of kind of controlling textures a bit better in Gravity Sketch.
because you can
Yeah.
do that. I mean, you can definitely like export your model, then apply texture, then import your model and
Yeah.
apply texture again in Gravity Sketch. So
Yeah.
you get the preview in VR before you're actually exporting
Yeah.
it to spatial. But yeah,
I guess what would be nice is that you could just do it in Gravity Sketch and then
exactly.
right. So I think that's being explored, but yeah, I don't know any more beyond that. But we've definitely heard you loud and clear. For anybody else listening that's asked about textures, we've definitely heard you.
And
And
animation. Yeah.
yes, and we love hearing this stuff. By the way, like if you have requests, if you have things that you want to see in the product, we love hearing it because it's how the product has gotten to where it is today. Is a lot of the features that are in there. I mean, many of them, if not most, are just straight from the community, straight from a community and customer requests. So, yeah, keep on giving us the feedback. We have a few more questions to get through. I don't know, we're coming down on time, but I want to make room for any questions that people have in the chat. I don't see a lot at the moment, so if there aren't too many questions, that's okay. We'll just keep going through. But I just want to remind everybody watching that if you have something that you're wondering about, if you want to ask Anita a question, feel free to pop it in there, and I can give it over to her. But we'll just keep chugging along here. I wanted to dive into the education bit. I'm gonna skip here to trends in the VR in education and creation. I wanted to dive a bit more into that. What are basically what are some trends in the VR in education and creation that you've seen? Yeah. I'll just leave it there.
Yeah. So, of course, like that won't come as a surprise, but I think we still have to say that AI, of course, is like it's not really a trend, but a paradigm shift, and rightfully so, because it holds so much power over the speed of the development of social VR and educational content. So yeah, and I love AI and also like this efficiency of the tools, and I use a lot of not a lot, but like I use the tools that can help me like generate 3D assets like this Luna or the Meshi for my experiment. But so like these tools are really great for efficiency. However, like the difference between generating an object and sculpting one lies in the depth of engagement. And this is the message like for the to the education. It's like keen to reading a text thoroughly, like internalizing it, deconstructing, reconstructing, like rephrasing, rewriting, like and trying to truly understand its nature versus like simply highlighting a textbook, highlighting a text in a textbook and yeah, calling it a day, right? So this is the uh, sculpting a 3D model allows for deeper understanding and more personal connection to that material. So as for the trends, like another trend, I'd say that would be like the standardization of the learning workflows in VR, because that has not been like heavily tested. And so I'd say that applying metrics to the learning outcomes would be the key here. And there are companies, of course, that are like focusing on making that happen, using like the really like breakthrough technologies with high and like eye-hand coordination. Oh, sorry, and high eye-hand tracking. For example, like this Skills VR, the company, and it's close to Stanford Media Lab, I believe. And so they're researching on that metrics and on that workflows and the learning outcomes, how to measure it, how to say what actually can be beneficiary to be like to develop for a learning experience, and what cannot, like what does not make sense.
Um, I definitely wanted to. I want to shift over because there is a couple questions, and I just want to make sure we get to it. Um, we have a question from Iris Moody. How are you able to get into contact with the doctors and scientists about the health-related project? I think that was the Immuniverse or the.
Mm-hmm.
Who did you get in contact in regards to that? Um, and they're just saying they think it's awesome that when artists collaborate with scientists, and they were just curious about how you made those contacts.
Well, this was quite like a like the situation was kind of lucky. These are my personal collections also, and through that one personal collection I got to the other, and that's how we started engaging in that project. So but otherwise I think just LinkedIn is a great source of
Yeah, not a bad idea. I guess when in doubt, LinkedIn, right? Yeah, I would say that too. Honestly, if you just don't have any connections, you don't know anybody, just go on LinkedIn. Maybe find companies um, that you think would be great to reach out to, and then see the people that work there. It's a really great way to connect with people. I think you'd find that people are more often than not uh, open to inquiry if it's genuine and you're not just trying to like selling something. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's I think that's a great approach to it. But and then I guess another question from Iris is, what's a future project or artwork that you look forward to using VR for?
Oh, I have a couple of actually like I have three another worlds I'm working on. I don't feel like this is the stage where I would like to talk too much about those, but these are going to be like um engaging real people in a new way. Like that's my focus right now,
Yeah,
on how to make that an engagement, like how to design the activities for people so that they really see the value of immersive experience versus the real life experience.
yeah. Um, Yeah, I can't wait to see more of the work that you do. Honestly, yeah, just when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, this is cool," because there's a lot of amazing work being done in our community. We've got automotive design, we've got footwear design, we have entertainment stuff happening. I think there's a lot more that that can be explored in the world of not just using Gravity Sketch, but using VR tools, using immersive experiences um, to teach and to bring people into new ideas. And so I think you're definitely one of those people that are exploring that new territory, um, and hence maybe your Instagram name, Do Daring World, which I love. I think it definitely plays on that, and we'll definitely share your socials as well at the end of this so that we can have people follow you. But yeah, just I really admire your work, and I wanted to ask you kind of as a, I guess like as a closing question, what advice would you give to someone who's interested in starting with VR for digital creation or education, but doesn't know where to begin? So if you put yourself in the mind of just someone that's amazed at all of this work, they're amazed at what you're doing, but they just don't know where to start, what would you say to them?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, like first of all, like thank you so much for your kind words. I really appreciate that. And as for the like what I would say for beginner, but actually no matter what the level of your previous experience in modeling is, that it's actually like this VR sculpting is within the reach of your virtual hands. It's accessible. It's really takes some time. It requires some time and brain work, like brain power investment. But it's really worth setting up for the quest, and especially if you have this goal to shape that new digital world that's being built right now. Like if that's even like a mission, because like the future generations will clearly live in there, and life follows art. So there's so also responsibility to it. But like technically, practically, like I would say, there are many tutorials out there, and increasingly, there are even more now, like coming up, and I would say it's a great starting point. But to cut to the chase, it's best to learn, maybe enroll in a workshop, and to fully leverage the power of that, for example, the collaboration room, right, in Gravity Sketch. And because it allows for sharing the UI, so you can see how someone can actually show you, the tutor can show you like how to use like what specific tools, what they're using inside creating that specific object you're creating. So I think that will make it a lot faster. And yeah.
Sounds like yeah, just I like one of the things you said. I mean, I like everything you said, but one of the things you mentioned was joining into like a workshop. I think, which yeah, they're always great. I always learn so much whenever I join someone's workshop or anything. Do you see yourself actually hosting anything like that at some point?
Yes, absolutely. Like I'm actually like this is happening now. Like that, I have this idea in mind that I'll be hosting a workshop for like for beginners, and this will be happening like the next weekend, Sunday. That will be like a 2.5 hours a day workshop, so that people don't get fatigued like with this experience, so it's not overwhelming. And that's for the basics, for the VR sculpting. But I will also be sharing a more like a workshop formula also for creating those immersive experiences, because I really think that this should not be gatekept. Like this should be available for people to create and come up with their own environments. Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent. Is this something that people can join virtually, like, or is it in person? They need to be
Uh,
there with you.
I've designed this as an online experience, so you definitely can come to my website. This newdaring.world, and then there's a tab where there's this gravity sketch workshop featured, and yeah,
New
I
Daring,
invite you to.
newdaring.world.com.
No, it's newdaring.world.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. If you're listening, go ahead and visit that website. As soon as this live's over, I'll definitely attach that in the description as well. But yeah, if you're wanting to explore more of this this type of work and do it yourself, then join Anita's workshop. I think that'd be a great next step. Sounds like that's a great answer for your question, Iris. But I just want to thank you so much, Anita, for your time, and I really appreciate you diving into your journey, how you got to where you are now, as well as sharing a bit of your perspective on how all of this is developing and then how you're using it, obviously. Is there any more questions before we hop off? We have a little bit of time, and so I just want to leave it open. If anybody wants to ask any questions for Anita or for myself, we're happy to answer. But I just want to thank you again, Anita, for making the time as well, and for speaking with us today. And I hope that
Thank you so much. Thanks so much for having me. Thank you for people listening. This is like an amazing experience too. Mm-hmm.
And I hope I'm pretty sure people got something from this. Again, this is I think a lot of territory that we want to explore more, and I certainly want to highlight a lot more, because I think that I just think that there's a lot more that's going to be. I think there's a lot more to blossom from immersive experiences. I think we're just scratching the surface of it. I mean, people are having concerts in VR. I know that sounds kind of funny, but I don't know. I just think that's going to be more, a little bit more commonplace in the future. It might take a few years, but I think some of this stuff that seems kind of odd, I think that it's going to become more prevalent, especially as maybe bigger names jump into it as well, which I could definitely see happening.
Yes. I haven't attended those concerts, but I know this T-Pain and aespa was playing in one of the VR apps, and I it's more like you're watching this experience rather than creating. But I'm really looking forward where you can interact to the point where you can actually for example change the piece of garment. You can actually start designing on it. So this would be this is hopefully this is the direction this will develop to.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Anita. I guess we'll close, but thank you everybody for watching. If you jumped in halfway through, feel free to go watch this. As soon as the live is over, you can just rewind it to the beginning and watch it from the start. And we do these live chats multiple times a month, so definitely stay tuned. We have these interviews. We also do live sketches where we join a community member or someone internally at our company, and they demo the product using Gravity Sketch in some specific way. And so appreciate you all joining in today, and thank you again, Anita, for your time. Really appreciate it. If we could just say one more time where people can go and find you, if you could just list out your social media as well as your website.
Of course. So this is www.newdaring.world. That's my website and all the tabs inside. But you can also reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I go by Anita Wielgosz. And of course, I'm really excited and inviting you to connect actually. And if you have a specific, maybe if you even have an idea for an immersive environment, I also invite you to reach out to me for that purpose. So yeah.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thanks so much, Anita. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you.
Thank you. Ciao. Bye.